Hi, my name is Cody and today we're going to discuss a pre-alignment inspection. The first thing we're going to check are the tires. We're going to check the PSI, make sure they're inflated to the right PSI. If they're not, we're going to fill them to the correct PSI. And once we do that, we will then check the wear on the tires. And if you can see here along the edge of the outside of this tire is worn more than it is on the inside of the tire, which means we have too much of a positive camber angle on the tire. And then once you'll go around to every tire and check their wear patterns. Once you've checked all the tires, you will then get underneath the truck and check your suspension component. So your coil spring here, make sure there's no cracks or anywhere broken on it. The shock absorber inside, you want to make sure you check the bushings on that, make sure it's not dent or broken or anything. You're going to check your pitman arm bushings on that as well. Then go along your drag link, make sure it's not dented or severely damaged anywhere. You'll go down to your tie rod ends, check those, check the bushings at your ball joints for your tire, make sure those are still good. And you will check both sides for this. Check the bushings, and then make sure any shock absorbers you have are good. And if you look here, you can kind of see that this bushing on the shock absorber is severely cracked, so that would need to be replaced before we did our alignment. Go along the tube, make sure there's no major dents, damage to them. Check the bushings on the other side. Once you've done that, you'll then move to the back of the vehicle, and then you can check your suspension components back here, which would be your leaf springs. You want to make sure that they're all lined up together, none of them are shifted to one side or the other. Make sure your U-bolts are good, not damaged, broken, loose. You want to make sure anything that's bolted down is torqued to proper specs. You check your shock absorbers, make sure they're not damaged, they're bushings. And go to your other side, check the leaf springs over there. And when you're looking at your leaf springs, you want to make sure you look at the bushings for your leaf springs as well. Check those, make sure they're not dry rotted or have any major damage to them. Once again, your U-bolts, check them. Both sides of the bushings, check the bushings on the back of the spring as well. And then we check our last shock absorber here, check our bushings on there, which appear to be a little dry rotted, so they would need to be replaced. And then you will check the tube as well, make sure there's no damage.